Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Kwame here, and today I want to talk to you about my year of using Android as a third operating system. Obviously Mac OS, iOS, and then Android OS, and what it's been like using it over the past year, and my thoughts and feelings overall as a hobbyist photographer with this ecosystem. And in particular, we're talking about Samsung because that's what I have here, and I do believe that they make the best um, tablet device out right now, and some of the best phones. Not the best Android phones. Obviously, it's very subjective, but this is the one I have: the S22 Ultra and the Tab S8 Plus, Tab S8. So this is the 11-inch version tablet. Obviously, both of these are a couple years old. There is a new Tab S9 line, like the S9, S9 Plus, and S9 Ultra, which is a 14-inch screen, and we'll talk about that more later. And then obviously there's the S24 that's out, S23, and depending on when you watch this, there might be an S25 out by the time you watch this video. However, all that being said, this is my experience using these two devices on and off. Now, I picked this one up about a year ago, a little over a year ago, more than a year ago now. And then I picked up the Tab S8 Ultra a year ago before we went to Paris and France. And my goal was to use it instead of bringing my iPad and my MacBook Air, I would just use this, and it worked okay. The two biggest gripes I had was the apps that I use on here: Lightroom, LumaFusion for video editing, Lightroom for photo editing, VSCO, and Snapseed. They worked all right. Snapseed works the best because obviously it's owned by Google, so it's going to work really good on these devices. But Lightroom and LumaFusion worked, but it was way different than the experience you have on iOS. It just felt smoother between those two devices. On iOS, I could edit a picture, I could close down the app, I could swipe it away, right? Double tap on the home button or something, swipe it away. I could reopen it, and the picture I was editing would be back up on screen. Really cool. S22 Ultra, it didn't do that, or even the Tab S8. On Android, it didn't do that. It would always bring me back to the beginning of the home screen in the app, so I have to go back and find the picture I was working on. So that was annoying. And then LumaFusion was just bad. It would crash constantly. When we were on vacation, I was trying to edit video on trains while we were going. It just sucked because the app kept crashing. It was really slow. It just was a really bad experience. And I'll be honest, when we came back, I kind of stopped using the Tab S8 for anything video or photography related. I would use it every now and again to watch like YouTube or something, but that's really it. I was using I have been using the S22 Ultra for taking pictures. I bring it with me pretty much everywhere I go, along with my iPhone and, of course, Ricoh GR3X. And it's great, like the 10x zoom, the video's really, really good. And then, I don't know what happened, when it happened, but about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I decided to pick up the Tab S8. Obviously, Samsung and Android were coming out with a bunch of new updates, so I ran a bunch of updates on here, and I decided to use Lightroom on here again one day. Just, I don't know why, but it was really good. Like, I could edit the pictures, everything seemed the same as working on iOS. And I don't even have a new iPad. I have the iPad Pro that still has the lightning adapter, right? So it's old, but it still runs iOS 18, so pretty cool. And it just worked. It was really smooth. Everything was great. And so I forgot why, but I decided, let me try running LumaFusion on here. Again, to my shock, LumaFusion ran just as well on here as it did, or as it does on my iPad Pro. And again, older iPad Pro, but it still runs perfectly fine. So I'm like, well, let me try to edit a few videos on here. It was amazing. It was night and day. It was so much faster than my current iPad, obviously, because it's older and this is a newer device. But it just worked. And that's something that really annoyed me with with Android in the past, is like the apps just didn't work the same as they did on iOS. And it was like and I don't blame Android. It's more like on the developers of not just putting in the time and effort to make sure it's on par with their other platforms. So that really worked really well. The other thing that I really like about having both a Samsung device and their tablet is you can sync your pictures back and forth like you can on iOS, right? So on if you don't know, on iOS, you take a picture with your phone, come back to your iPad using Apple's iCloud backup and everything, like their cloud sync, the picture shows up or the video shows up on your iPad. Same with this. So it does use Microsoft OneDrive, so you have to sign into a Microsoft OneDrive account or create one. But then your pictures and video get backed up and they sync across both your devices. Now, obviously with Apple, it's all internal, meaning like Apple owns the both hardware, the software, and the whole backup system. With Samsung in particular, you do have to trust Microsoft. You may or may not trust them. I do believe Microsoft is a company that I can trust with my pictures and stuff, so I do that, and it works out fine. And it's really nice when I want to shoot, 4K video or something on here. I wait a little bit, it gets synced over to my tablet, and then I can just start editing the video in LumaFusion right on here. I don't have to like transfer anything over. Really, really nice. Another thing I like about using Android is I recently picked up the Insta360 X4, so 360 video, and I've shot a couple videos already. I don't know if they've been released by the time you've seen this, but I'm able to use the Insta360 app on my Android tablet, and because it's not so big, right? If I do launch it, show you here, launch it on here, it does open it in a in a vertical format because that's the way that the app would run on Android. But because it's a 11-inch tablet, it actually doesn't look too bad. Now I wish I could force it to turn over this way, but you can. Let me show you here. So the one really nice thing that I like about Samsung devices is their DeX mode. So I'm going to put this on here, and I'm going to move this. I'm doing all this so you could see what it is that I'm showing you. So here it is, and if I come in here and hit function, or just hit function in this button, I'm going to open up DeX mode. So DeX mode is, on iOS, they have Stage Manager, which kind of gives you a desktop feel to the iPad. Well, DeX mode is the same thing, but it kind of gives you an Chromebook feel for your, in this case, the tablet, but it also works on the phone. So I can plug my phone into an HDMI monitor. Let's say I was using the monitor I have here. I could plug my phone in, and it will bring up DeX mode. So I could use like Bluetooth keyboard and mouse, and you literally have a little computer from your phone onto your big screen monitor that I'm looking at in front of me. However, it also works on the tablets. And what's nice when you do it in the tablet mode, now you can see the Insta360 app. I can use it vertically, right? I can use it like this, but I can also make it full screen mode, and it works full screen mode while I'm in DeX mode. And DeX mode just isn't about like making apps like this work in in a horizontal way, but I'm also able to work on my website, using, again, like a Chromebook. Like I can work like I'm using a Chromebook, and it really does help when you have a Bluetooth keyboard, or in this case, the official keyboard from Samsung. So the way that I use this the most is when I'm at a coffee shop and I'm editing my website. It's much easier to edit it as a regular website like this than to use the mobile version. And again, it's like running a Chromebook. So I can grab pictures if I want to like open up my files, grab some pictures, and then copy them over into my, I use Squarespace. I could copy them into my Squarespace album or something like that. Runs really, really smooth when I'm using it like that. And then when I'm done, just hit function DeX. It undecks everything. It undoes everything, and I'm back to just my regular tablet. So I really, really like Dex. I think it is a big game changer for a lot of people, just because if I'm traveling, I can take this with this keyboard and let's say my USB-C memory card reader, and I could import pictures. I have a 512 gigabyte micro SD card in here, so I can import pictures onto, I can back up pictures onto that micro SD card, and then import them into Lightroom if I wanted to. Or what I did last time is I brought a little hard drive like this, plugged it in, and then backed up those pictures from the micro SD card that's in the tablet onto here. So now I have a backup copy on here, backup copy on the tablet, and a backup copy. I kept a copy on the on my memory card. This works great unless you shoot a Fuji camera and you shoot in the HEIC file format, which I happen to shoot in. So what does that mean? So typically when you're shooting pictures, you're either going to shoot JPEGs or you're going to shoot RAW pictures. For almost every camera, like the Ricoh GR3X, I shoot JPEG. X Insta360 X4, I shoot JPEG. Sony camera, I've been shooting JPEG just because I like shooting. I like getting it right in camera and then just being able to quickly make any little adjustments I need to make on the picture and then share it. Or in my case, I haven't been sharing it, but when I'm ready to share it, it's just one less step. I just, at this point, I just like shooting JPEG. But on the Fuji camera, for some reason, I've been shooting HEIC files. And you can say it a bunch of different ways. I just say HEIC files. And the reason why I shoot HEIC files versus JPEG with the Fuji camera is just because the HEIC files are smaller, meaning they're compressed a little bit more, but they also hold more image quality. Like they have a higher bit rate quality than JPEG. So yes, it's a smaller file, but it's a more effective file, I guess. The only difference is HEIC files are not supported on Android. And it's just not Samsung devices, but I checked out a couple forums, Reddit posts, and everything. It's just they don't work. They don't work with Android devices, so that sucks because none of my pictures from the Fuji camera work on any of the Android devices. So if I'm going to import pictures that way, I had to use my iPhone to be able to do that, which I use an iPhone on a daily basis. So was it annoying? Yes. Did it suck? Absolutely. But does it make me want to stop using Android overall? No, not really. Like if I really want to, I could just shoot JPEG on here and call it a day. Again, I do make some edits to my pictures, but like very, very small edits. So it's not a game changer, but it does suck. So I wish Android would update and that would work. The other thing I wish is that Samsung made a keyboard like this bridge here. So this is an old keyboard for my iPad, but this is a keyboard that a company that no longer exists, Bridge, made. And it's a metal keyboard, it's Bluetooth, but what was really nice is it made your my iPad almost feel like a real laptop. And I wish that there was an option like this for the Samsung devices. And I say that just because the keyboard is nice. Like I do like using this keyboard, but it's like using a Microsoft Surface device where it's hard to use on your lap when you're sitting. You know, you do have to have it connected to use it. So if you disconnect it, it stops working. You know, I wish there was a Bluetooth option to where it would work. Now, here's one little wrinkle in this whole love fest of this Android device. I haven't used my iPad in a few weeks now. I've completely turned it off. We went on vacation for a week. I didn't bring it, and then when we came back, I just stopped using it and just kept using this device, this one, but I've been also using my old, really old iPad mini. This is like the fourth generation, so it doesn't even have, you can't even use like the Apple Pencil on it. So it's a really old device. However, I absolutely love this size when it comes to like content consumption. So I really like this. I've been using this a lot for content consumption, and I've realized that when the new one comes out, the iPad Mini 7, whenever it gets released, hopefully in the next few weeks, I will pick one up, and hopefully they have multiple storage options, because I would pick up like a 512 or even a terabyte, not because I would use it to edit video or edit pictures or things like that on there. Again, I have this, and going forward, this is the device that would use. However, I really like this, right? It's great for all of that. The 11-inch tablet is a little cramped if you're going to use it for like editing a website or anything like that. So the great part with Samsung, which I love about Samsung, you have options. So this is the smallest version, the 11-inch model. This is the smallest version. They do have the next size up would be the 12.9-inch model, which is just like the iPad Pro. But then they also have a 14-inch version of this device, and that is gigantic. It's, I believe, as big. Yeah, it's as big as my MacBook Air screen, right? It's gigantic. However, maybe it's a little bit bigger. I don't remember. But like, I think that would be a great, like, I'm using this at home or like taking it to a coffee shop. Use that for editing videos, uploading videos, editing pictures on the go, that kind of thing. And then having a small little iPad like this to do all the other stuff, watching YouTube, listening to music, reading books, surfing, going on Amazon. That's literally what I use this for, is like just those small tasks. And then I would use this as the bigger task. Oh, another reason why I like using Samsung devices is the S Pen. Now I have 2 or 3 of these S Pens, and they all work between this or this. Like, I don't have to pair them. I don't have to do anything. I just, if I, again, you just saw I pulled this S Pen off of the back of here. I open this up, and I just start using it, right? And then when I'm done using it over there, if I want to come over here, I open this up, and I just start using it. Again, I absolutely love that about the ecosystem with Samsung. You can get one pen and it just universally works. Obviously, on the Apple side, there are 3 different pens now, and they work with all the iPads, but they all work differently. So there's not one pen that will work on all the iPads, whereas you have one pen that will work on all your Samsung devices. So I really do like that. All right, so this is a long video, but I will say, as a hobbyist photographer, I really do like the Android ecosystem. Again, does it have all the apps that iOS has? No. But the apps that I actually use, Lightroom, Snapseed, VSCO, Glass to share pictures, and LumaFusion to edit video, are all on here. And it works really well. And it's a fraction of the cost of iOS. Yes, you do, obviously there's other things you're going to miss out on if you get this, like iMessage or Apple Pay, all that other stuff, right? But from just a photography perspective, from taking pictures, editing pictures, sharing pictures, I can highly recommend the Samsung ecosystem for that. This has been a long video. As always, thank you for watching this video. I will have links down below to these versions of the devices that I have, but also the newer versions. I would say check out the new ones. I'm honestly I've been thinking about picking up the S24 Ultra, and then just calling it a day with as that is my Android device, probably the next 2-3 years. And then also at some point upgrade my iPhone to the iPhone 16 when it comes out, and then keep that for 3-4 years also. And the hardware is you guys, the hardware on these devices, iOS or Android, they're really good. And that's the other thing I wanted to say. I'm not team Android, team Apple, team Mac, team Windows. Like they're all billion-dollar conglomerates, right? They don't need a team. For me, this is more about like what fits in my workflow and what fits in my what needs do I have in my use cases. And an Android operating system or Android ecosystem, Samsung in particular, easily fits the hole I had when I would go out and I didn't want to bring my MacBook Air, or we're going on vacation. I don't want to bring my MacBook Air because again, you lose that. That's my entire work computer, everything computer. And I just want something to edit videos on, edit pictures on the go, but it could be a convertible. This is it. And yes, you could do it with the iPad, but I have expandable storage, the universal pen, and then Dex mode. Like being able to plug this into a external monitor or not use an external monitor and have Dex is awesome. But then if you're using the tablet and you do have the keyboard, the trackpad, and you plug this into an external monitor, well, now you have a big Chromebook in front of you that you're using, and it's your own stuff. And it's the same with, it's even more compact with this. You do have to bring like a folding keyboard and a small mouse, but again, you pair that with, and you, let's say you go to a workstation and you can plug into an external monitor. Well, you can get all your work done, most of your work. You can get some work done using that. But if you're editing pictures, you can easily edit, share, post pictures like you're doing it on a desktop using just your phone. And that is super cool. That's something Apple will never do. And that's those little things that make this system work for me. But yes, as always, thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you want to see all the accessories I have for these devices, let me know. I can make a video about that. But yeah, I really do like the Samsung ecosystem for tablets. Thank you as always for watching this video, and I will see you next one. Talk to you later. Bye bye.